The supreme sign, the observations of a traveler questioning the universe concerning his Maker, in the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate. The seven heavens and the earth and all that is in them extol and glorify him, and there is nothing but glorifies him with praise. But you understand, not their glorifying. Indeed, he is most forbearing, most forgiving. Quran 17:44. This second station, in addition to explaining the above sublime verse, sets out the proofs, arguments, and meaning of the first station, which has been skipped. Since this sublime verse, like many other Quranic verses, mentions first the heavens, that brilliant page proclaiming God's unity, gazed on at all times and by all men with wonder and joy. In its pronouncement of the Creator of this cosmos, let us too begin with a mention of the heavens. Indeed, every voyager who comes to the hospice and the realm of this world opens his eyes and wonders who is the master of this fine hospice, which resembles a most generous banquet, a most ingenious exhibition, a most impressive camp and training ground, a most amazing and wondrous place of recreation, a most profound and wise place of instruction. He asks himself, too, who is the author of this great book, and who is the monarch of this lofty realm. There first presents itself to him the beautiful face of the heavens, inscribed with the gilt lettering of the stars. That face calls him, saying, "Look at me, and I shall guide you to what you seek." He looks then and sees a manifestation of dominicality, performing various tasks in the heavens. It holds aloft in the heavens, without any supporting pillar, hundreds of thousands of heavenly bodies, some of which are 1,000 times heavier than the earth, and revolve 70 times faster than a cannonball. It causes them to move in harmony and swiftly without colliding with each other. It causes innumerable lamps to burn constantly, without the use of any oil. It disposes of these great masses without any disturbance or disorder. It sets sun and moon to work at their respective tasks, without those great bodies ever rebelling. It administers within infinite space, the magnitude of which cannot be measured in figures should they stretch from pole to pole. All that exists at the same time, with the same strength, in the same fashion, manner, and mold, without the least deficiency. It reduces to submissive obedience to its law all the aggressive powers inherent in those bodies. It cleanses and lustrates the face of the heavens, removing all the sweepings and refuse of that vast assembly. It causes those bodies to maneuver like a disciplined army. And then, making the earth revolve, it shows the heavens each night and each year in a different form, like a cinema screen displaying true and imaginative scenes to the audience of creation. There is within this dominical activity a truth consisting of subjugation, administration, revolution, ordering, cleansing, and employment. This truth, with its grandeur and comprehensiveness, bears witness to the necessary existence and unity of the Creator of the heavens, and testifies to that existence being more manifest than that of the heavens. Hence it was said in the first degree of the first station, there is no God but God Almighty, Allah, the necessary being, to whose necessary existence and unity the heavens and all they contain testify, through the testimony of the sublimity of the comprehensiveness of the truth of subjugation, administration, revolution, ordering, cleansing, and employment, a truth vast and perfect, and to be observed. Then that wondrous place of gathering known as space, or the atmosphere, begins thunderously to proclaim to that traveler come as a guest to the world, "Look at me. You can discover and find through me the object of your search, the one who sent you here." The traveler looks at the sour but kind face of the atmosphere, and listening to the awesome but joyous thunderclaps, perceives the following. The clouds, suspended between the sky and the earth, water the garden of the world in the most wise and merciful fashion, furnish the inhabitants of the earth with the water of life, modify the natural heat of life, and hasten to bestow aid wherever it is needed. In addition to fulfilling these and other duties, the vast clouds, capable of filling the heavens, sometimes hide themselves, with their parts retiring to rest so that not a trace can be seen, just like a well-disciplined army showing and hiding itself in accordance with sudden orders. Then, the very instant the command is given to pour down rain, the clouds gather in 1 hour, or rather in a few minutes. They fill the sky and await further orders from their commander. Next, the traveler looks at the wind in the atmosphere and sees that the air is employed wisely and generously in such numerous tasks that it is as if each of the inanimate atoms of that unconscious air were hearing and noting the orders coming from that monarch of the universe. Without neglecting a single one of them, it performs them in ordered fashion and through the power of the monarch. Thereby, it gives breath to all beings and conveys to all living things the heat, light, and electricity they need, and transmits sound, as well as aiding in the pollination of plants. The traveler then looks at the rain and sees that within those delicate, glistening, sweet drops, sent from a hidden treasury of mercy, there are so many compassionate gifts and functions contained that it is as if mercy itself were assuming shape and flowing forth from the dominical treasury in the form of drops. It is for this reason that rain has been called mercy. Next, the traveler looks at the lightning and listens to the thunder and sees that both of these two are employed in wondrous tasks. Then, taking his eyes off these, he looks to his own intellect and says, "The inanimate, lifeless cloud that resembles carded cotton has, of course, no knowledge of us. When it comes to our aid, it is not because it takes pity on us. It cannot appear and disappear without receiving orders. Rather, it acts in accordance with the orders of a most powerful and compassionate commander. First, it disappears without leaving a trace, then suddenly reappears in order to begin its work. By the command and power of a most active and exalted, a most magnificent and splendid monarch, it fills and then empties the atmosphere, inscribing the sky with wisdom and erasing the pattern. It makes the sky a tablet of effacement and affirmation, a depiction of the gathering and the resurrection. By the contriving of a most generous and bountiful, a most munificent and solicitous sustainer, a ruler who regulates and disposes, it mounts the wind, and taking with it treasuries of rain, each as heavy as a mountain, hastens to the aid of the needy. It is as if it were weeping over them in pity, with its tears causing the flowers to smile, tempering the heat of the sun, spraying gardens with water, and washing and cleansing the face of the earth. That wondering traveler then tells his own intellect these hundreds of thousands of wise, merciful, and ingenious tasks and acts of generosity and mercy that arise from the veil and outer form of this inanimate, lifeless, unconscious, volatile, unstable, stormy, unsettled, and inconstant air, clearly establish that this diligent wind, this tireless servant, never acts of itself, but rather in accordance with the orders of a most powerful and knowing, a most wise and generous commander. It is as if each particle were aware of every single task, like a soldier understanding and hearkening to every order of its commander, for it hears and obeys every dominical command that courses through the air. It aids all animals to breathe and to live, all plants to pollinate and grow, and cultivates all the matter necessary for their survival. It directs and administers the clouds, makes possible the voyaging of sailing ships, and enables sounds to be conveyed, particularly by means of wireless, telephone, telegraph, and radio, as well as numerous other universal functions. Now these atoms, each composed of two such simple materials as hydrogen and oxygen, and each resembling the other, exist in hundreds of thousands of different fashions all over the globe. I conclude, therefore, that they are being employed and set to work in the utmost orderliness by a hand of wisdom. As the verse makes clear, and the disposition of the winds and the clouds held in disciplined order between the heavens and the earth. Quran 2:164. The one who through the disposition of the winds employs them in countless dominical functions, who through the ordering of the clouds uses them in infinite tasks of mercy, and who creates the air in this fashion. Such a one can only be the possessor of necessary existence, the one empowered over all things and knowledgeable of all things, the sustainer endowed with glory and generosity. This is the conclusion our traveler now draws. Then he looks at the rain and sees that within it are contained benefits as numerous as the raindrops, and dominical manifestations as multiple as the particles of rain, and instances of wisdom as plentiful as its atoms. Those sweet, delicate, and blessed drops are moreover created in so beautiful and ordered a fashion that particularly the rain sent in the summertime is dispatched and caused to fall with such balance and regularity that not even stormy winds that cause large objects to collide can destroy its equilibrium and order. The drops do not collide with each other or merge in such fashion as to become harmful masses of water. Water, composed of two simple elements like hydrogen and oxygen, is employed in hundreds of thousands of other wise, purposeful tasks and arts, particularly in animate beings, although it is itself inanimate and unconscious. Rain, which is then the very embodiment of divine mercy, can only be manufactured in the unseen treasury of mercy of one most compassionate and merciful, and on its descent expounds in physical form the verse, "And he it is who sends down rain after men have despaired, and thus spreads out his mercy." Quran 42:28. The traveler next listens to the thunder and watches the lightning. He understands that these two wondrous events in the atmosphere are like a material demonstration of the verse. The thunder glorifies his praise, Quran 13:13. The brilliance of his lightning almost robs them of their sight, Quran 24:43. They also announce the coming of rain and thus give glad tidings to the needy. Yes, this sudden utterance of a miraculous sound by the atmosphere, the filling of the dark sky with the flash and fire of lightning, the setting alight of the clouds that resemble mountains of cotton or pipes bursting with water and snow. These and similar phenomena are like a blow struck on the head of the negligent man whose gaze is directed down at the earth. They tell him, "Lift up your head, look at the miraculous deeds of the most active and powerful being who wishes to make himself known." In the same way that you are not left to your own devices, so too, these phenomena and events have a master and a purpose. Each of them is caused to fulfill a particular task, and each is employed by a most wise disposer. The wondering traveler hears then the lofty and manifest testimony to the truth that is composed of the disposition of the winds, the descent of the rains, and the administration of the events of the atmosphere, and says, "I believe in God." That which was stated in the second degree of the first station expresses the observations of the traveler concerning the atmosphere. There is no God but God Almighty, Allah, the necessary being, to whose necessary existence in unity the atmosphere and all it contains testifies, through the testimony of the sublimity, of the comprehensiveness, of the truth of subjugation, disposal, causing to descend, and regulation, a truth vast and perfect, and to be observed.